All right, so today is March 23rd. It's Saturday. I've done a couple of things here and there. I kind of made a mess in the garage. My son got a new motorcycle. That's my dog, Bailey. Say hi, Bailey. She's smelling all the fun smells. We stripped off a little bit more of the seat. Found more critter nests. There was a nest up inside the seat back of the driver's seat, so that was fun. But some of the things I'm doing is mainly focused back here on the engine. I replaced a few things. Fuel pump, there was one. I replaced the what they call the Dizzy, the distributor. Working on replacing the fuel lines. So I have this kind of sitting up here, unconnected still. So I have new fuel line here. Steel is still the old steel, but I'm going to replace that as well. But I think it's okay for now. So that's going in from the fuel tank. This will go up to the carb. I want to move it a little bit out of the way. It sits right above the distributor, which is not a good place for it to sit, in my opinion, and many other people's opinions. So basically, that's what I'm working on. Replacing the coil, replacing a bunch of replaceable parts. I took the other fuel pump off. It's an original from what I can tell, but it had some corrosion inside. Could probably rebuild it. Probably won't rebuild it myself, but I'll probably end up selling it to somebody who wants an original. And I think that's it. Oh, I need a new vacuum line, but these lines are even smaller than the fuel lines. The fuel lines are 5 millimeter, I think. So this must be 4 millimeter, something like that. I'll have to look that up because it just slides right on and off the vacuum line of the carburetor, and that's not a good thing. So hopefully when I get all this hooked up and put a little gas in the tank, it'll be okay. If it's not okay, I'll probably end up pulling the gas tank and seeing if there's anything goofy going on up there. But not too much progress. Since the last video I made, I haven't really had a whole lot of chance to work on it. I did pick up another frame. So here's the frame that I'm probably going to use. My internet friend, Dwayne from the Samba. Thank you very much. Yet again, I've told him thank you like 50 times, I think. But so my plan is, let me see if I can get some light on this. So this needs replaced because this one over here is chewed up, as you can tell. Yes, thank you, dog, for checking that out. But this kind of stuff here is also pretty rusty, so I don't even think that these can be replaced and like welded to this well. Because here's the pieces. I think I put them over here, yeah. So these things here are the replacements. And they go, I don't know if this is the right side for this. No, it's not. This will go over here. So basically, that just welds into place right where that is. That'll take the place of that. But like I said, the pieces that would attach to on this frame are pretty rusty. So my plan is to take this frame and this frame. This is the original frame. And I'm going to cut. So here's the same pieces on mine. Can't really see it because the light's crappy over here, but these pieces are much better up on front. So what I'm going to do is have the guy cut off however long. 12 inches is what I was thinking, but I don't really know yet. So I'm going to cut the pieces of here and here, weld those plates on, cut an equivalent amount off of this frame, weld it all back onto here, and have one good working frame. So when I said that, I told Chuck from chucksconvertibleparts.com that that's what I was going to do. And he immediately shot back, make sure that you take measurements because it needs to be the same length when you're done. So part of what I'm probably going to do before I even do that is bolt it back to the body just lightly and quickly and fold it out. Just kind of see where it lands on the windshield, because this is kind of bent and rusty, like I said. So I just want to make sure, take like pictures and measurements, make sure it's all good, so that I can make sure that when it's welded all together, it'll be the same length and it'll actually work. So the other thing is that this frame is from a 1970 convertible. And obviously my frame was from a 1971 convertible. But apparently they're pretty much the same. Like 68 to 72, I think, is all the same. Or they're compatible. They're not quite the same, but they're compatible. Same size, and they function basically the same way. So the 70 and before, I think, needs extra wood bows on the inside. So this one has wood bow on the inside side of each frame, where the 71 and 72 don't. But it doesn't matter because it's compatible with the top. I think Chuck just said you need a different headliner for the earlier frames, which is easy enough to do. So I'm pretty excited. Going to do that. I think I've decided also with the seats that instead of buying replacement seats that are cut, replacement pads and stuff that's cut to fit, I'm going to try to just get some pads and make them myself. Go to a craft store, because I want the pads that I use to be a little bit firmer than what came stock. I want the ride to be just a smidge firmer than it is. It's pretty bouncy, like when I sat in it when I first got it. It's kind of bouncy. I don't like that. I want it to be a little bit firmer under my butt. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And if it fails, I won't really have wasted too much money, because pads and stuff like that at craft stores aren't really all that expensive. So we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. If I fail, no big deal. I'll just buy the other stuff and be done with it. So anyway, I'm going to work on the engine a little bit. I'm going to try to finish putting the connections on the new coil. It has different connectors, so I had to clip the ends off and replace them with different ends so I could screw them down to the coil. And then once I do that, I'll probably hook up jumper cables to the battery and see if I can get it to turn over, see what it sounds like. Maybe put some gas in the tank, like I said, and see if it'll breathe some life. So I'll keep you updated as I go. All right, so today is April 1st, 2019. Been goofing around a little bit with my car. One of the things I wanted to try to accomplish today was to see how easy and or hard it will be to scrape the rust off these wheels versus getting a new set of wheels. So as you can see, it's got some nice rusty patches. Did a couple of spots here, some deeper rusty pieces, blah blah blah. So I'm just messing with seeing what it's gonna take. I've already been doing it for like 5 minutes. It's not terrible, but it is gonna take a little more elbow grease than I thought. I'm just using a simple wire disc on my drill. Drill's not all that fantastic. It doesn't go very fast, so I might look for a more powerful drill to make this go better. Other than that, I'm going to do that side, and I'm going to do this side, which is really rusty, as you can see. This was a pain in the butt to get off the car because one of the nuts, one of the lugs, was thoroughly stuck. Tried a couple different things. I finally had to go get a 16-inch breaker bar, which I then slid my 2-foot long pipe over top of. Finally got it to break, and I'll update you a little bit more on that, because I did that so I could reach the starter. Discovered that the starter was disconnected from the key, So I was able to connect that and get the engine to turn over, which I don't have video of that, but I'm waiting for parts to, well here, I'll just walk you over here and show you real quick. So I'm waiting for parts to finish my oil change. So, like I said in the last video, I have all the stuff on the engine replaced. Started the engine oil change. So what I need is this stuff, the screen and stuff that goes up inside there. Mangled the other one pretty well. I don't want to replace it anyway because it's 30 years old. But anyway, so in here is the starter. Can't really see it. But in there, in that little hole right there, is the starter. I was able to hook it up. And I won't turn it over for you now because the engine has no oil in it whatsoever. But as soon as I get the engine oil replaced, I'm going to run this. I'm either going to take this off and stick it in a gas can, or I'm going to pull this off and stick a different tube in the gas can and use that from a gas tank. See if I can't get it to turn over. I should have this on here for the time being. But I had to order a bunch of stuff, gaskets and stuff. It's a little different changing the oil in an air-cooled Beetle engine than a current engine. So anyway, just messing with what it takes to get rust off of things, and that's it. So I still haven't done anything with my frames. I'm working on lining up welding people for this because I still have my plan in place to cut pieces of the frame off and put them two together to make it work. And I also got covers for my seats, which I'm really excited about. They look great. They're the original, what they call the basket weave pattern, original VW Beetle pattern. So once we get the rest of this stripped off, I'm going to buy a hand brush. I'm going to scrape as much of that rust off as I can. And then I'm actually going to try to maybe use some of these seat covers that I have laying out here as a pattern. Because like this is the one from the front seat, as you can tell. So anyway, I'm going to try to make my own seat pads because the seat pad kits that you can buy are $200 or $300. And I think, first of all, I want firmer pads. Second of all, I think I can make them myself without much fuss. It's a non-critical piece of the car. It's mainly for my comfort. So if I find a pad that I like, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go to a craft store, see if I can find some pads. If I end up being successful with that, I will post steps on what I did to make that happen, in case you want to do that for yourself. Other than that, that's my update for now. I'll turn this back on when I'm finished messing with my wheel. I'm not going to take too much time today. Just have a little bit of time this afternoon after work before I have to take my son to Taekwondo. So, there you go. Alright, so been doing this for about 20 minutes, I think. I would call it a good first pass. This brush is not really doing anything to get some of the deeper rust out of the wells there. Some of the surface stuff's coming off nicely. This kind of hard to get off. This used to look like this. So a lot of it's coming off pretty well. The other side is a total mess, but it's all surface rust. And it's really sticky because I sprayed a bunch of penetrating oil, so it's still kind of just sticking there like stuff. But it came off, and I doubt this was ever painted or anything like that. So what I'll probably end up doing is getting some rust proofing paint, primer, whatever, that you just spray over rusty parts to keep it from rusting further. I've done that in the past. But some other stuff seemed to work pretty well. So that's what I'll do at the back of these wheels, I guess. But I'm going to keep scrubbing a little bit. As you can see, disc's about 2/3 of what it used to be for one wheel. Don't think the disc is the best way to go with this, so I'm gonna have to figure out, do a little research and figure out a better way to go. And I'm kind of sad that I can't use these tires, because they're actually in really good shape tread-wise, but not a good idea to drive on 30-plus-year-old wheels, tires, in case they decide to explode on you. So I'm going to be replacing these eventually. Other than that, that's all I have for right now. Alright, so I just wanted to show a little comparison. Like, these wheels looked all the same all the way around. That's my neighbor dog. So you see all the rust on here. Rusty bubbles around each one of the little holes and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. So that's what it used to look like. That's what, that's what the other three look like. So this is this one. It looked the same. Still got some spots. So I'm going to get some, instead of trying to use this wire brush because it's pretty slow, I'm going to get some sandpaper. I have a little power hand sander. I'm going to get some 50 grit paper and probably some 300 grit. Sand down the rest of this stuff as best I can. Get it smooth. Maybe do the other side as well. Like I said, I think I'm just going to do the other side and some rust prohibiting. Maybe get some rust converter and then paint over it on that side instead of trying to paint it off. But anyway, you can see did a pretty decent job. Looks pretty good to me, especially compared to that. So if you look at this, look at them side by side. I think it looks pretty good. So the idea is to paint them black. I want the wheels to be black. The whole car is going to be black except for the trim. So the hubcaps will be chrome, obviously. The wheels themselves are going to be black painted. And there you go.